there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today, you guys, I gotta talk some sports. I can't help it. I gotta talk this Shaq and Club SHAY Shannon Sharpe beef that is taken ahead. There's a diss track apparently too, Kendrick Lamar and Drake style. Nonetheless, we gotta get to all of it. So for those of you guys who are not sports aficionados, it's okay, because we'll get to the beef in a moment, right? But this started because currently the NBA, those of you who, I'm not going to assume you all follow sports, they're knee deep in these playoffs. They're in the conference, semis. We'll get to the conference finals pretty soon, and then the NBA finals, right? And so they're handing out the regular season awards. And so a big topic of conversation was who was going to win MVP, who was in the running for the MVP. And a lot of people believe that the Oklahoma City Thunder star SHAY Alexander should have won the MVP, should be the MVP, right? Except for went to Nikola Jokic, the Joker, who plays for the Denver Nuggets. He is an international star. He has won this MVP 3 times in 4 years. And Shaq told Nikola Jokic to his face, you guys, on air, he doesn't feel that he deserved the MVP. But he said it, he said it in only the way Shaq can, right? And said that it should have went to SHAY Alexander, which is his opinion, right? And so Shannon Sharpe didn't like that, right? Shannon Sharpe then went on his platform, went on his nightcap, and said basically Shaq is jealous of the Joker because Shaq only has 1 MVP, and Shaq feels like he's robbed, and Shaq is mad that he's not talked about as being dominant and all these things, and feels that the Joker put in less work compared to him, and all these things, and he needs to stop. So then Shaq got wind of this and basically called Club SHAY, Wendy Williams. like pretty much that's all the thing that was missing. And one of the rants, there were several rants. I don't know if he's deleted them or not, but they were all just hilarious to me. But basically saying that Shannon Sharpe has no authority to ever talk about Shaq's career, anything that he's done in his career. He doesn't have as many championships as Shaq, which I don't even know why that's relevant. You guys don't even play the same sport or anything. But basically said, don't come for me. I didn't send for you. Keep my name out your mouth. You do not know basketball. You don't know all these things and all of that, right? Just went in this whole other direction. And then even quoted from Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe's former co-host on his Fox show Undisputed, said, I'm better than you. Now, for those of you who are familiar with Shaq, he pokes fun at himself at times, but he picks and chooses, though, who he wants to be upset with. When people make fun of him missing free throws, when people make fun of him being out of shape, when people make fun of him, basically, him and Kobe could have won a lot more championships had, Shaq and him, coexisted and got it together and all these things. And so most of the time he's cool, but if it's like people like Charles Barkley or other people, he'll be like, oh, how many rings do I got? Or whatever. And he is most upset as well, which was, again, another response that Shannon Sharpe did, right? Once he got wind of all of Shaq's posts, late night posts on the gram, Shannon Sharpe did, another nightcap and basically, did not say anything disrespectful about Shaq this time. Basically said, that you are dominant, and the fact that you could have even been more dominant and you weren't even in shape and you weren't healthy as you could have been, speaks to how great you are, speaks to how dominant you are, and, all of this being blown out of proportion for what? Like, he wasn't insulting your career or anything. All he was saying, and he doesn't like this notion that just because you're, giving props to the Joker, that means that you have to that you're tearing down the black athlete or whatever, that you're just giving him the props. He won the MVP or whatever. And so then after this is when Shaq drops his diss track And then Shannon Sharpe responds on social media trying to be petty, saying, you know, that basically posts a clip, reposts the clip of his response, basically how he's giving props to Shaq and all of that. Says there's no backtrack, there's no beef, just context and all of this, basically explaining he feels that Shaq feels a certain way because he feels Shaq feels that he deserved more than one MVP, and he definitely feels he deserves the MVP that they gave to Steve Nash that year and all of the things, and so therefore feels that any of these big men that are just winning all these awards out the woodworks do not have the same career as Shaq, don't have the same level of dominance as Shaq, and all of that. What is my take on this? I think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. I think I am tired of people saying that women are so messy and so catty and so out of control and so full of drama. The men this year, since Cat Williams effectively in January with the Club SHAY interview, it has been comedians and these sports guys coming out of their feelings. Like being sensitive as ever. Make it make sense as to why this is even a beef. Why is this even a thing in the first place? Literally, Charles Barkley was just on Club SHAY talking about how people call him Uncle Tom and cancel him. Now there are some reasons as to why people have made those comments, because he has said some problematic things. Let's keep it a buck, right? But nonetheless, this notion as an analyst, as a commentator, as a podcaster, as a YouTuber, that people are going to agree with every single thing you say is never going to happen. And the one reason that I hope that they can keep inside the NBA, I hope that they can keep TNT, still having and broadcasting NBA games, is because we're never going to see this level of authenticity on any of these other sportscast shows. And that is the problem. If you go to ESPN, if you go to, Fox, if you go to ABC, all of these analysts want to suck up to these athletes. They want to suck up to these agents so that they can get these exclusives. But just be yourself. Just be legit. Stop fangirling at the littlest thing, right? And what I liked about Inside the NBA is they're going to keep it a buck. They're going to be like, listen, I don't think you deserve the MVP this year. And I have no problem with it. I don't have an issue with it, because that's Shaq being Shaq. Yes, you know Shaq the goof, Shaq the jokester, but, I mean, is Shaq wrong? Those of you that watch basketball, is he wrong? Does the Joker deserve MVP this season? And they implemented this season, really, Embiid was in the running for winning MVP up until his injury, because they changed the rules that you have to play so many games to be eligible for the MVP award, which knocked out some players, including Embiid, from being in consideration once he had another injury that would have taken him out of that threshold of being in consideration. So then it came down to SHAY from the Oklahoma City Thunder, and clearly people who still want the Joker. But the other side of it too is it is very hard for a lot of these athletes, in particular these black athletes, to win multiple MVP awards, which is a whole nother conversation in itself. That's the real conversation that needs to be had, right? But that's going to make some people uncomfortable, right? Because literally, you could argue that LeBron and Michael Jordan and others deserve like 10 MVPs, right? Or on some of the seasons that you see other people that win, and you're like, how did that person win MVP, right? Which is the same thing that happened the year that Steve Nash won it over Shaq. Everybody, for all intents and purposes, it was supposed to be Shaq's. And they were like, no, let's give it to Steve Nash. We have to give everybody a chance. But you guys, when you guys have a certain player, a certain demographic that you're trying to impress, a certain, aura that you're trying to uplift and show is the next great hope, right? You guys, all that goes out the window. You'll give them as many awards as you want to. Now, Shaq, obviously being in that position, being in corporate, is not going to come out and say that. I believe Gilbert Arenas has kind of said it, but it's kind of come off, it kind of went off the deep end, the extreme that he went to. But it's a real conversation that needs to be had, right? How is it so easy for the Joker to win MVP
3 out of the last 4 years, and you have some of these other athletes that basically had to campaign for themselves to win, or it was going to be an afterthought. But I am thoroughly entertained by this beef. I don't feel like you have to be, a basketball player, an NFL player to do analyst work, to analyze a game or analyze a player or analyze some things that are going on in the news. If you have your facts, if you have your receipts, and you can back it up with your opinion and say what it is, then keep it a buck, right? Whether you like that this person won an award or they didn't. Clearly, Shannon Sharpe was not happy with Shaq's, approach, but I didn't have an issue with it because this is what makes reality TV real. Inside the NBA is the best reality TV show ever, you guys, because everybody is themselves. There's times of jokes, but then there's times when they're really about to get some furniture moving and beat the crap out of each other, and I'm here for it all. I'm thoroughly entertained, but I'm just cracking up at how messy this is getting. And how sensitive, it depends on who says what about Shaq, depends on how he's going to have these reactions. That now it's a problem that Shannon Sharpe said something of all people when you know what his platform is outside of ESPN. When you know what Club SHAY is about, when you know what Nightcap is about, right? You already know what it is. So why even poke the bear? Right? But I'm thoroughly entertained, right? I'm team nobody because on the one end, Shaq has, been honest himself and has said, listen, I could have won more championships. I could have won more MVPs had I been in shape, had I not been petty with some of these teams I was on and, really got to work, right? He has been open about that. He has also been open that he does not like the fact that he has never been a part of the GOAT conversations that everybody talks about, LeBron and Michael Jordan. And they don't, mention Shaq even as they'll mention him as a dominant big man, but he's never considered, one of the greatest of all time or whatever. So he said he felt a certain way about that. But I think the best response to this whole chaos is this needs to be Shannon Sharpe's next guest on Club SHAY, you guys. The views would be through the roof. This is what you need to do. This is how PR works, people. This is how social media works. You guys are trending right now because you guys are the top stories outside of Kendrick and Drake's beef, right? Your beef now is center stage, right? You guys are attacking all of the headlines and even making the headlines. This article was from MSN. I didn't even go to ESPN or, any of these sports platforms to discuss this particular beef. I went to MSN, right, to talk about it. But nonetheless, this is a goldmine opportunity for both of you to have a sit down on Club SHAY and tell each other to your face what you guys think. Shaq, you can tell Shannon Sharpe to his face on Club SHAY that you think he's full of it, you think that he is Wendy Williams, and you think that he likes to uplift these other people, these other stars, but because of their tone, their skin tone, and all these things, and you would never go this hard, for any of these other athletes or whatever. You would have a problem if another athlete had this opportunity to win MVP 3 times in 4 years and all the things, and you don't know my sport like that. And then Shannon Sharpe can retaliate and say, listen, but you've said in the past that you understand that you could have won more and could have done more had you stayed in shape, had you not gotten injured and all of these things and took better care of your body throughout your career. And I even said on my nightcap that you were X, Y, and Z and you were dominant even with all of those issues. So why you got a problem? I think it would be ratings gold. I think this is a perfect opportunity for them to do this interview. And it needs to air next week, you guys. They need to do this sit down this weekend. And that interview needs to be edited and uploaded by next Wednesday, you guys. Because that is what this is about. Promote yourselves. Promote yourselves. Talk about your greatness. And go head to head with each other on why you're mad at each other. So there's that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.